and welcome to your Yin Yoga practice with me, Kumari Sky. Go ahead and grab some props. Don't worry if you don't have official yoga props. You can definitely improvise, and I'll see you on the mat. Hello. Welcome, everyone. So happy that you are here. I'm Kumari, and I'm going to scoot back into my spot. Grab some props. Do you have any yoga blocks? If you have two, that would be awesome. This is a yoga bolster, and I'm always just assuming there's people on here that may not be familiar. All right, so that was the bolster. I also love this flat pillow. Those can be really nice. And then another integral part is going to be a blanket. And if you have a blanket that folds just a little flatter, that's helpful. But again, you can improvise. Maybe you have a couch pillow. I always put those pillows there as examples of what can be used. This is Milo the cat. Gonna make a little cameo today. Let's start in a seated position. So I'm gonna sit up on this blanket. So I trust you've found your seat now. And once you get settled, go ahead and close down your eyes. Placing one hand at the lower abdomen and one right here at the heart center. And just start to really tune into your stillness. There might be places in your body that are talking to you a little more. Send them some breath, some life force energy. Take a breath in and poof out the belly. Now take a breath in and see if you can move your chest. Now we'll combine the two with each breath. Inhale, belly, chest. Exhale, chest, belly. I'm just trying this at your own pace. Aware of the rhythmic flow that is your breath. Now we're going to add a count to the breath. You might think of it like this. Inhale, belly, 1, 2, chest, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, belly, 1, 2. So just breathing in for 4 on the inhale and on the exhale. And still feeling those two defined areas of breath, the belly and the chest. A few more times. Now upon your next exhale, you can let your hands and arms relax onto the legs or the lap. Notice how you're feeling. If you're wearing glasses, go ahead and take those off for a moment, because we're going to bring the palms together, create some heat here. Nice and warm. And then cup your eyes. Imagine your eyeballs drinking in the warmth. Starting to massage gently the hairline, the temples, perhaps under the eyes, the jaw, giving the ears some squeezes and pulls. Usually feels pretty good for some reason. Make sure you get the jaw real good. Opening and closing a few times. And how about down in the neck area? And then as you're ready, you can release. And if you haven't opened your eyes yet, you can do that. Put your glasses back on. Good. I hope that you feel just centered and maybe a little bit freer and ready to practice. So we're going to stay in a seated position, but we're going to open the legs into a pose called straddle. Oops. So you're up on a blanket or pillow, and then you're just going to kind of slide off until you feel your pelvis tilting forward, legs out long. If you're feeling something in the inner thighs, you're doing it. This is what the pose is all about. Ways we can assist ourselves into a deeper release is by supporting the body in different ways. So you might take something under your knees, and it doesn't have to be blocks. It's whatever you have. That can be helpful, especially if you're kind of tight in the back or your hamstrings. Another option is holding your bolster and just kind of leaning into it. And then, of course, if you're able to go down a little farther, you sure can. Okay. You can make the Stonehenge. Hank, if you're on here, this is a nice way to practice. I think that's what I'll do. But just as a reminder, the practice is about sensation. We're putting our bodies in positions that instigate sensation in certain areas. So this one is the inner thighs. Your adductor muscles are here. How deep do we go? Well, we can just go to where we feel it to begin. So for some bodies, that might just mean sitting up. But since we hold these poses for minutes on end, you might start to lose the sensation or just feel the call to maybe go a little bit deeper and feel it again. Notice the level of sensation. We're always looking for the middle ground in Yin Yoga. Not too much, not too little. If we're not feeling anything, then we're not really doing much. But if we're feeling too much, our nervous system is actually reacting to that in not a positive way. And so our tissues end up This is not a scientific way to say it, but they end up a little scared. So just find that middle ground. Another indicator of your edge is what your breath is doing. For the most part, if you can keep the breath just easy and smooth, that's perfect. And in that way, you'll know if maybe you're going a little too deep, your breath is going to change. When the breath increases or intensifies, then the usual thing that happens is the mind gets a little more active. So your job during the practice is to just keep tabs on this. Just keep coming back to Yin Yoga is a gentle and simple practice. But simple doesn't always mean easy. So we're protecting ourselves from pain. Remember, you can always obviously come out before I signal if you are experiencing pain, or if you just want to come out early. Welcome if you just joined. Welcome. We got about 30 more seconds here. So all that talk about the level of sensation, what you're feeling, how you're feeling it, all of that is regarding your edge. And so that's the first principle in Yin Yoga, is to come into any of the shapes we're going to make to the appropriate edge for you. Only you know. All right, go ahead and bring yourself a little more upright. Challenging you to move extra slow. Hello, welcome. I see a few more people popped in. You're not too late. We're just getting started. We're going to transition into child's pose from here. You may or may not use props. My preferred way is to put a bolster down and then come lay on it. Another great idea, if you don't go down that far, is to make a little ramp for yourself. If your knees are bothered here, be sure to lift your hips a little bit. Maybe even slide something behind. Probably a rolled up blanket would have been better, but so this one squishes my mic, so I'm not going to be doing it with you. But what I am going to do is just remind you to check in with the sensations now that we've been here a moment. And are there any adjustments that you could make to feel more supported? We use all of these props so the body can really relax. The body really, really relaxing into the props. That way the muscles relax and the fascia really gets targeted. Your connective tissues targeted. So your knees, your hips, your ankles. And this one's really targeting the whole spine. Just by virtue of being in this position, just bringing some gentle traction to the spine. In fact, you might not even feel it that much. The second principle of Yin Yoga is resolving to remain still. When our bodies are still, the breath flow becomes more balanced and slow and even. And then this contributes to a quieting of the mind, a deeper connection to the essence of you. So a dropping inward. Go ahead and turn your head to the other side if you have it turned one way. We're going to stay a couple more minutes. There's also a physiological piece of staying still. When we're still, the muscles aren't activated. And in that way, we are able to affect the connective tissues more. The muscles kind of hog the spotlight. So if you're fidgeting and moving around a lot, then you don't get quite the benefits from the practice. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't move at all. I'm more just talking about fidgeting. Just go quiet here for the next 40 seconds. And now breathe in a little deeper. And start to press your way up. Here's where some leg stretches probably will feel pretty good. You can do a downward dog if you'd like. So many options. We'll skip over the third principle to talk about the fourth principle, and that's the rebound. The rebound is either laying down in stillness in a different position, or it can be like counter movements. So for instance, the one we just did, where you were stretching your legs, maybe doing downward dog or some cat-cows. But it doesn't have to be either or. You can always just do what comes naturally and intuitively. In fact, that's what I encourage. And I'll always maybe give you a few ideas in case you're new. But the rebound really takes our practice to the next level in terms of listening to our bodies. All right. Next up, we're going to try shoelace. Now, if this one does not work for you, that's okay. I'm going to give you another option. So again, you're going to be sitting up on a folded blanket or a flat little pillow. Go ahead and pull your left leg in and step your right leg over. So if you are more familiar with yoga, this is called Gomukhasana. Okay. So what happens if your knees are a little bothered? You can always lift this one up a little bit. Sometimes people will put a block here to hold it in place. Unlike more yang style practices, we are not trying to force our knees to be in alignment. You could even be like this. Okay. Another thing is sometimes you feel like a little tipped over in this one. So in that case, you can just pull your blanket to one side. That usually helps even things out. But there's more. You can also practice with one leg forward. So what we're going to try to do is just feel sensation in this top leg. And then after a little bit, I'm going to ask you to come forward a little more. So have any blocks or bolster handy. Now, for anyone that isn't going to be able to make this happen, you're going to come on your back and do reclined figure 4. I'm taking my ankle here, I'm lifting up and putting my arm through the hole of my legs, and I'm holding like this. Some folks feel a nice big stretch in the hip, even putting the foot on the floor. Another option is pretend there's a wall here. You can put your foot on a block. You get the picture. Okay? Again, I'm here for you in the chat. If you have any questions. Okay. So we're looking to feel an edge in the hips. Don't worry if the bottom hip is also feeling a little action. To feel it more, you'll lean forward. So this is where the blocks come in my practice, or if I'm teaching at a studio, I would say do something like this. So for sure, we don't want to be experiencing any pain as we practice. But sometimes pinchiness doesn't really feel like pain, but it is a sensation we want to avoid. So if that is happening in your hips, see if you can adjust to make that go away. All right, so now we're on the third principle of Yin Yoga. And that is what my teacher always says is the magic ingredient, and that's holding for time. Holding for time. Because of the tissues we're working, it's essential to stress them. We have to give it some time. Connective tissues don't stretch, but they do ever so subtly elongate. Not very much. And then they go back to their normal shape after a little bit, like a minute, sometimes more. And it's in that process that the medicine lies. I just said we're stressing the tissues. Our body tissues need stress in order to remain healthy. And with that stress comes a whole cascade of beneficial happenings at the cellular level. Okay, let's breathe a little more. I'm going to have us here just a little longer. You can always come a little deeper if you want. I've seen some bodies completely lay down on their leg and put their head on a block. My body doesn't do that, so I won't be demonstrating. Let's just enjoy a little bit of an inward journey for our last minute here. Okay? If you haven't already, you might consider closing your eyes. Before we come out, let's take one of those 4-count inhales and exhales. Breathe in, 3, 2, 1, out. 3, 2, 1. Slowly bringing yourself upright. Slowly leaning back into your hands, releasing the legs. If you are in alternate position, continue to join us for some movement. So again, the 4th principle, do what you think would feel good right now. Is it just sitting here in stillness? Is it some windshield wipers with the legs? Okay, let's practice on the other side. Now, check out how it feels. Totally fine to do it different on this side. We're looking for sensation in the glutes, thigh, hip, lower back area. So just get yourself in a position where you feel that if this one doesn't work for you. Okay? I'm going to start the timer. Sensing and feeling. You might just meet this side with curiosity. Does it feel different than the other side? Are you relaxing your hips? One really potent way to help soften the hip area is to imagine the exhale Just releasing down to the seat. Like the breath would be washing down. An instigator of release. And this is another indicator you might be in too deep. If you notice you just keep kind of clenching the legs or the hips, maybe you need to release a little more, do it an alternative way. And you're always invited to explore. What would it be like if I went a little deeper? What happens? Notice the areas where new sensation occurs when you change position. We're building our ability to really be aware of interoception. What's going on in the inside of the body? And this overall helps us to become more self-aware. And when we're more self-aware, we start to maybe not tolerate feeling bad or stressed, frustrated, anything. And we realize we have the opportunity to change what we're thinking, what we're doing, what we're believing. So not only is this practice nourishing our tissues, every layer of them, but we're also building a deeper relationship with ourselves. We are becoming more emotionally intelligent. Maybe you didn't know you signed up for that. Let's go ahead and come on out, nice and slow. Slow means not fast. Releasing, very, very normal to feel like very tight. That's those tissues being just ever so subtly expanded. Now they're making their way back. But they are back changed, healthier, stronger, thicker. My teacher even says younger. My teacher is Bernie Clark. Maybe you've heard of him. He wrote The Complete Guide to Yin Yoga. He's the Yin Yoga goat, along with Paul Grilly, who I haven't had the pleasure of studying with, because he doesn't do teacher trainings anymore. I would if I could. All right. Now we are going to get a nice big side stretch in. Well, I hope it feels like a nice big side stretch for you. This one is called Banana Asana. So it takes place on your back. If you'd prefer to have a little something under your head, you sure can. Probably don't need a bolster. Go ahead and lay on your back. Extend out your legs. Let's just do a big stretch real quick. Breathe in. Reach through your arms and fingers, your toes, your legs. Breathe in again. And let it go. So how we do this one, we're going to create a stretch in the right side of the body. Walk your legs over to the left. And then walk your top half over to the left. Take your elbows in your hands if you can, but you can always grab your wrists. Okay. Now we're not pulling, we're just holding. And then a lot of people like to cross their ankles. And you could do right over left or left over right. For me, my arm is just like up high, so I'm going to put it on something. Okay. Your head can go either direction, and it should feel like you're having a big stretch on the right side. Now, because everyone's body is so different, there might be some in this group that are like, yeah, I don't feel it tons, but it's still doing something, so just stay. Completely normal for the arms, like the fingers, to get a little tingly, or if your shoulders feel pinched, adjust your positioning. So see how my right glutes are really making contact with the floor. You don't want to have your hip lifted. You want to have it down. So it should feel like your buttocks is flat against the floor and your shoulder blades are also flat against the floor. Remember, it's always fine to adjust and move if you want to go deeper or if you want to make it less. Take a few more rounds of that 4 inhale, 4 exhale breath, and focus on feeling the right side of your body expanding. Got a little less than a minute here. Ooh, if you have your ankles crossed, undo that. Bring your arms down to your sides. Just shimmy your way back to center. I'm a big fan of hugging knees to chest after that one. between some rocks. Keeping the side body limber and nourished really contributes to your back feeling better, more stable, not as sensitive. Okay, so now we're gonna walk the legs over to the other side, walk the upper body over, and finding your way in. I'll get the timer going for us. Scanning your body. Able to just fully relax. Be sure to support yourself where needed, when needed. Try 3 more of the 4-count breaths, focusing on the expansion on the left side of the body this time. Tune into your breath from the inside out. You might even feel how your skin stretches, your clothing moves. Just a little bit longer. Sense of your whole body softening. One more deep breath. And release. Take your time. Move your body. We'll take a reclined twist. Draw your knees up. Drop the legs to the right. Arms out. T or a V, whatever you like. Head turns to the left. You can always modify by having your legs land on something, especially if that left shoulder is hovering. Put your legs up on something so that left shoulder can just relax. Just holding here. Just feeling your body breathe. Again, just a sense of allowing it to happen. Feeling how the body is being gently stretched. Just notice all the areas where you feel some sensation. And there's our time. So go ahead and just bring your legs back to center and we'll release to the other side. Just giving yourself whatever you need here to feel comfortable and supported. You might like a blanket between your legs. And just make sure that this shoulder and arm feel relaxed. Making contact with the floor. Think of each exhale as a softening. Each exhale, a letting go. Stay a little longer, maybe one more minute. And slowly release. Here would be a nice place if you wanted to do a modified happy baby or a happy baby. You can just rock from side to side. And then next is Shavasana. I enjoy using a bolster under the knees, but you can for sure use a rolled blanket if you'd like. You can put something underneath your head. Let's bring our hands back to the abdomen again, both hands this time. Close your eyes. If you have an eye pillow, that might be really nice to put on there. And your body temperature will naturally lower a little bit. So if you have a blanket or sweatshirt and socks, so you can stay comfortable for the next several minutes. Tune in to the rise and fall of your belly beneath your hands. Softening. All the edges blurring. And start to guide your breath to become a little deeper. Softly either tapping or moving your fingers on your body. Starting to stretch your arms and your legs. Obviously, if you're not quite ready yet, you can stay in Shavasana as long as you like. Next, you might bend your knees, lift the hips a little bit. Maybe feeling a few more of those rocks. Take your time to come onto your side and press yourself up. Noticing how you're feeling here. Let's bring our palms together and take one more deep breath. Breathe in and out. Thank you so much for joining. and for taking care of yourself and honoring your body. From my heart to yours, namaste. Wishing you all the best. If you found value in this practice, please go ahead and give me a like or a subscribe, a comment. I love to hear from you. And I'll look forward to meeting you here again.